Good evening and welcome to the February 4th Town Board meeting 2020. I want to ask everyone to rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
I ask us to take a moment of silence. I ask us to remember the four chaplains who sacrificed their lives on February 3rd, 1943 on the Dorchester: George Fox, Alexander Good, Clark Poling, and John Washington. We also remember those who we honored this past weekend at the American Legion's Everlasting Ceremony. Thank you. We're going to move the agenda around slightly tonight, and we are going to begin with presentations. I know Councilman Patel has some special guests that he has here. Councilman, would you like to introduce your guests for their presentation tonight?
Well, let me see if I can figure out their names, Well, I want to invite and welcome, there's still one more coming, right? She's going to be here?
No, I think she's ill.
Okay, all right. Anyway, why don't you just come here and you introduce yourself, that you did this summer project, and the highlight is there, and the biggest thing will be right there on television. This is a 4-year project, so you are in the second year, and then you will recommend to the school, and school or principal will recommend another 2 more years. Really very nice study, so they know how the water works, so they're going to do the presentation on the television. Did you test this?
I'm connecting right now.
Okay, all right.
And if you speak, if you wouldn't mind,
Yeah.
right at the podium
you
there,
together, okay? All right.
using that microphone.
Yeah.
And we have,
And I'll catch up.
I believe we have,
2 Yorktown and 2 Lakeland.
both Yorktown and Lakeland.
Yeah,
Very
so
excited.
why don't you say what school you are and the name? Because
Yeah, why don't you introduce yourself and give us what school you're from?
My name is Julius Lagoa, and I go to Lakeland High School.
My name is Miranda Lopes, and I go to Lakeland High School.
My name is Layla Hudson, and I go to Yorktown High School.
All right.
Class of 2020.
Go Hornets.
Careful.
Huskers.
Careful. I got my, I was in the high school for the first time in like 10 years this past week, and Superintendent Hatter gave me my Steam coffee mug. I saw one of my old soccer coaches. He thought I was there in an interview.
At least they didn't ask you if you were a student for a whole
That's
time.
true.
pass, yeah.
That's true. That's true. Do you want to have them begin, or
Yeah, I'll catch up. I had to connect.
okay? Does that work for you?
Or why don't you just say a little bit about, or you want me to do something, what is really involved in here? So the mission was to water, sewer, and land use issues have become more important to our future than ever before. Mankind's future is endangered by global warming and a deteriorating environment. Water, sewer, and land use decisions are at the core of what needs to be done is to give our environment and preserve human life and indeed the planet. And they are going to tell you where the water comes and everything. Starting now, the first one? Okay, the first slide, right?
I'm getting there.
Okay. All right. Can I lower it or is this okay? The light, dim it a little bit?
No, I think we can see it all right.
Just give it a second.
And one on this side. So, okay. So you just address to the town board, okay? Okay, you can start now, all right?
Okay, so this is our research. This is what we've come to find about our town and how we deal with our water. So first, I think it's important that we all realize what the town of Yorktown really does with water. The water is treated at a very high level, removing all sediment, and it's treated with chlorine to make it 99.9% clean of viruses and bacteria, which is very clean and very safe. And the operating budget is about $12 million every year. It costs us in Yorktown $6.25 per 1,000 gallons of water. At school, it costs me $1 for a 16.9 ounce water bottle. So I could fill over 1,211 of those water bottles for the same $1 worth of town water. And plastic water bottles are found to contain substances like arsenic and phthalates, which are very hazardous for human consumption. So it would actually be significantly safer and cheaper for us to use town water. And sewage is taken straight from our homes to treatment plants where the solid waste is taken out and the water is processed until it is safe enough to be released back into streams. And the operating budget there is about $4 million every year.
So the next step after appreciation is conservation.
You speak in a microphone, please.
It's conservation. And the town of Yorktown needs to strengthen its efforts to conserve water. And water is a scarce resource, and that's why we need to put forth more efforts. And we need to do this through reducing our daily water usage. So ways to reduce water usage, there's a variety. We could take shorter showers and drink less bottled water. As Julius mentioned, with the chemicals, why would we want to? We would just, town water is fine. We can maintain and repair leaks and collect and reuse water, as well as adjusting our grooming routine in the morning, brushing our teeth, closing water, and minimizing laundry rounds and using water-efficient appliances. And as well as watering our plants in the morning, because in the afternoon, transpiration, it's more efficient to water in the morning. So we looked for new technology that the town could use, and we came across Streamlabs Smart Home Water Monitor. And this technology tracks water consumption and provides real-time alerts to possible leaks. And it's easy to install, as shown in the picture, and it can show daily and overall usage as well as long-term trends. It can also set water conservation goals. And if the town of Yorktown uses this, households can save thousands of gallons of water per year, and communities can save millions of gallons of water.
We also need your cooperation to help conserve the water. So we need the townspeople to start using pipe-friendly products, so that way the pipes won't get damaged, there won't be any leaks, and the water won't be contaminated. And to not flush anything down the toilet except for toilet paper, especially any medications or antibiotics, because that won't get filtered through during the treatment, and it can leak into the environment. It can give people health problems. It's very bad. And then also we asked to install electric water meters that are more accurate and can be controlled from a distance from the plant, or even some of them from your phone. And then be understanding when prices increase, because we're really just trying to keep the water healthy, as clean as possible for you. And then to support motions to allocate funds for renovations, so that way we can do all our best.
My colleague from Yorktown, Kristen, could not be here tonight, so I'll be reading her slides. The final step is renovation. Yorktown needs to put water meters into their homes, because these meters can measure the amount of water used, and it's costly. However, it can reduce the accidental spending when pipelines burst and the stream of water is constant. And water can be managed by phone, so pipelines can, when they break, the water flows, and people would know and could manage it. In addition, sewer systems should be put into place, and when they are, it can prevent diseases and sanitize the water more. And these sewage systems need to be put especially into place in Sparkle Lake, and we need 51%, the majority, to agree on this decision to implement it. In addition, many systems that we visited over the summer, they were built years ago, maybe sometimes up to 15 years ago, and their efficiency could be greatly increased if they are replaced. Currently, cement lining could be put into it place to renew the pipes, and this would be more efficient than other linings that are currently there. Finally, money needs to be allocated to renovate the several millions of gallons of water tanks because they are old and beginning to degrade as shown in the picture. We have special thanks to Mr. Matthew Geho of Joint Waterworks, Mr. Kenny Rundle of the Water Department, and Mr. Ed Mahoney of the Sewer Plant.
All right.
Go Ed.
Great job.
Any board member, supervisor would like to ask a question, superintendent, anybody else would like to ask questions?
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, I love the idea of the Streamlabs home water monitor. I actually was reading a case study, I think it was down in Tampa, and they had similar technology on these houses, and they were actually able to detect leaks before the homeowners even knew they had a leak because they saw the spike real time, like you were talking about, in water usage. It's actually pretty phenomenal technology that would benefit a lot of people. Of course, the flip side is always the cost, but I know that our water department is engaged right now in continuing water meter replacement project, which is, of course, important for the entire town for a lot of the reasons that you just talked about. We've had conversations with our water superintendent, Kenny Rundle. I remember one of my first meetings as supervisor was in his office. I think you were there, and he showed us, and I see a lot of the pictures. You were there. I see a lot of the pictures in your slides about the pipes and like one of these ones here, and they brought out pipes that they couldn't even put their fists through, and that's what we're drinking water out of right now for some of our residents. So that looks like the picture of the pipes. I have it on my phone, but obviously, again, that's that relining project is something that's been discussed and something that we continue to discuss. So you did a great job. You hit a lot of the points that our local government's engaged in. And continue to have conversations about to find solutions to. Obviously a lot of it's financial based. It's just figuring out how we pay for it, and that's the job of the comptroller who's upstairs looking at me right now. But phenomenal job, phenomenal presentation, really great work.
Thank you.
You had actually, before you leave, you had actually brought up something which is very important and a lot of people don't know. So you spoke about not discarding medications into the sewage. So, part of that also, I think it would be appropriate to say that if you do have unused medications, we have a drop box in our police station where people could bring that. And then there's also a Shed the Meds program that runs through the state assembly, I believe now, with Kevin Byrne, and a lot of communities have that. So, finding a way, and if you ever have the question, you could always call the police department, and they could let you know where. But I didn't know that until a relative passed away with a lot of medication, and it's like, wow, what do you do with all this? Yeah, and that was a decade ago. So,
Two of the most life-sustaining things that we have in this community is our sewer department, our sewer system, I should say, and our water system, not only for drinking but also for firefighting is the water system. And some of the pictures you guys had put in here are what some of our pipes look like, literally. And it is a scary thing when your superintendent of water tells you that I cannot say with 100% surety that without pipe relining and cleaning that I can supply water to a certain area of town to put out a house fire. It's a scary fact when that happens. But through some of your work and through the conservation of water, I think that we'll have a much more efficient system that's moving forward. Have you students done any more research on the meter system that can be put into houses to monitor your water consumption at all?
They do alert the water. It does alert the water.
Come on up to the mic. Otherwise, the guy in the back booth will yell at us.
It does alert the water treatment plant or the where it comes out of, and it will usually call your phone, your house, or your cell phone, sometimes both, to alert you so that way you can get home, and they will cut off the water immediately once they get the alert of the spike in usage. So that's very useful, I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Definitely.
Anybody else?
Yes.
We got Highway Superintendent Paganelli.
Yes.
Well,
it's clear that everyone takes away something different from your presentation. What I was particularly enthused about was when you made the correlation between what a bottle of water cost and what 1,000 gallons of water cost. And every time we raise water rates, all right, and we raise them not just to make more money, we raise them to be able to repair infrastructure and take care of it. You know, the cement relining is a big thing right now. Highway is actually looking at it in terms of doing drainage pipes. Today we did 130 feet of drainage pipe that looked like Swiss cheese when we took it out. So, you know, those are points that people should take away and say, hey, if my water rates go up a little bit, go try buying it by the bottle, you know? So thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So let me just, is anybody else want to ask any question from the public? Anything? I'm just going to speak only
Yeah, by all means.
very quickly. Nearly $100 billion are spent for bottled water. And you don't know the origin of that water, you know, really. I drink Yorktown water since 48 years, okay? I have the same teeth. And
Can you show those to us again?
anyway,
Looking a little vampire.
you know, the life depends on the water and a reservoir depends on us. So it is our responsibility. So next time this summer, you know, we're going to see how the water is contaminated by human use from the air, water in the ground, the contamination, large increase in the population. People have a bigger bathroom, bigger car to wash, you know, and then industrial waste, you know, is tremendous, especially the chemical, pharmaceuticals, and then small little thing, you know, all the little cosmetic and everything, they have a chemical you cannot detect, and that's why government has no regulations. They all end up either, you know, take a shower or whatever goes in there. It costs more money to process the water once you get out of your, you know, faucet, you know. So I want our sewer superintendent, please just come and just join them. And 1 second, and how about the water?
Is Kenny here? Is
Kenny
Ken
here?
Rundle here?
All right.
No?
Anyway, I think, you know, you can ask any questions, if what you have any concern for them, or either way, because really, can you believe that people like you and employee and you come in your own time, and really it's very, very nice. And same thing with the superintendent, you know, the joint waterworks.
Yep.
And Kenny, when he said, I will buy him a lunch, you know, he was even like that. Anyway, so
I'm
thank
always
you.
happy to have these bright young kids come, and it's nice walking around with them. And when you stop talking, you know, I could talk to them. So, but it was wonderful. I always love doing that. And like every year, the middle school comes to the plant for a tour, and it's nice. So it's wonderful. I'm
Mahoney,
glad you
thank
asked
you.
me to do it.
All right, so
I got a
Hey,
lot
Ed,
of-
thanks for taking your time and helping
anyway,
them.
just
and
can
being
we
here.
take one picture of
Yeah, no,
that?
we got certificates from the town for
One quick
for all of
question,
you.
just to share with the audience out
Yes.
there. In your expertise, what is the amount of gallonage that each household puts out in water? Do you have that?
I think it's probably, there's like some
Per day.
basic number. It's like 100 gallons a day, maybe.
Per person, per
No,
household?
I think per household.
Per household?
Yeah, there's like an engineering equation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there are people, you know, they
That use
live.
more, some use less. You know,
There are
depends how many
people-
people are in the house.
Well, we have certificates for all of you that we're going to present on behalf of the entire town board, including Councilwoman Roker, who is still home recovering from her illness. But, again, very proud of all of you. We really appreciate your time and your efforts, and thank you all for being here tonight. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Stand up.
That everybody gets in one there, okay? And I think.
All right. We can talk about leadoff. Yeah. There you go. And I have. Do you want me to give you the extra one? So you can you're very welcome. Yeah. No, we're gonna come over here. Come here.
Go with the town board. They're more important.
Eddie, get up here too.
Eddie, come on. Right here. You're right in the middle there. Right in the middle here. Come on, here we go. All right, show hold up your certificates there. Yeah. And you got the poster over here. Yeah. All right, here we go. We're going to put you right ahead. Back. All right, great job. Thank you so much.
You want to take pictures? No. Picture.
I feel like my cheek muscle gotten stronger over here.
See you, Vish.
Those pearly whites.
No kidding. No kidding. All right.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Find other two guys.
Okay.
Councilman Lackerman, do you want to introduce our next presentation?
You know, the University of Pennsylvania, they have this program for all the
Oh, yeah.
elected officials from the whole entire United States.
We got.
I could give
It's Kristen's?
I couldn't make it up.
There you go. Thank you very much. Great job.
Billions of gallons they save.
So we have another presentation. We're going to have Councilman Lackerman introduce our next speaker.
Okay, so our next speaker is going to be Amelia Silverman, and she has created a mural at the Jefferson Valley Mall Community Room to benefit the Alliance for Safe Kids. So if we could have Amelia come on up. And I think we have some people that worked with you as well, Ron and Heather. Is Liz Talbert here? No. Okay. I know.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh,
Matt, are you her stand-in?
no, I'm not.
No, okay.
And I know Trissy wanted to be here, but she's in Washington D.C. right now, lobbying for Ask.
Yep, there you go.
So that's
Great.
good stuff.
Hi, I'm Amelia Silverman, and I'm a junior at Fox Lane High School in Bedford, New York. So my objectives for this mural was to create a mural to brighten and beautify a community space, to engage the public to participate in the creation, and to help raise money for Alliance for Safe Kids. So for my artist statement, I wrote, "When I first saw the blank wall in the Jefferson Valley Mall Community Room, I knew that I wanted to bring some color and light to the space. My ultimate goal for this area was to make it warmer and create a sense of community. To achieve this goal, I came up with the idea of getting signed handprints and showcasing them on the mural. Every single handprint represents an individual in the community and their thoughtful contribution to the Alliance for Safe Kids. I really hope that this mural makes the community room a warm and inviting space for those who occupy it. It has been such a great opportunity to help the Jefferson Valley Mall bring their community together in an artistic way." So here are pictures of the mural that I did. You can see that each of the handprints on the tree came from a donation for the Alliance for Safe Kids. So children, adults, they were able to write their names so they could always be a part of this mural and visit the community room and see that they were a part of this artwork. And it was a wonderful opportunity meeting everyone from the Yorktown community, being from Bedford. It was just nice meeting a bunch of people. And also, in order to bring a little color to your surroundings, one must take the action of asking the community to help. So that was definitely a theme for this mural and what I aspired to do.
It's awesome.
Great.
Great job. Thank you.
So, Amelia, what caused you to choose Ask? What was what was the thing that attracted them to you?
Well, I've always been very interested in helping the community, and I mean, what better way of helping the community than helping kids my age and helping benefit their safety.
Fantastic.
Great.
I was actually in the community room for some of our meetings and saw it firsthand, and it's spectacular. You really did a great job.
Thank you.
I was actually just there last night because the mall is doing a lot of stuff, and I think we'll talk about that in a moment. But we do have Kyra here from the Alliance for Safe Kids. Did you want to say anything about the project?
Sure, yeah, just briefly. I mean, it's just amazing that Amelia was able to do this, and we're just so thankful that the community looks to us and wants to support us as well. And the project is just beautiful. And to also have it highlighted in the Jefferson Valley Mall, which is just an amazing community partner and a place. We're just really, really excited. So, and you did an amazing job. So,
Thank you, Kira.
thank you.
Heather, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Heather Novak. I'm the marketing director at the Jefferson Valley Mall. See a lot of friends here. But we're just really proud of Amelia and love, of course, working with the Lions for Safe Kids. But Amelia's project really brought to life the heart and soul of what we're trying to do with the Jefferson Valley Mall. So hopefully you've been in recently, but that last quote, maybe you could put that quote up again, because that is exactly what we're trying to do. Bring color and life and community partnership back to the mall through asking the community to actually come in and be a part of that. So like I say over and over again, if you have a passion or something that you believe in, if you have a wonderful organization that you work with or a group of people that you just want to come in and meet with, we have the veterans who come in every day. We have the young moms who come in and do working out. We have free classes literally every single day. We have something free for the community to come in. So Amelia's project really brings to life this community feel, and she was at multiple events here in Yorktown, interacting with people from Yorktown, asking for donations in order to make this come to life. So as part of the Yorktown community, we invite you to come in, definitely come in to see the mural this Saturday. The Yorktown Chamber of Commerce is having their annual home show. At the home show at 1 o'clock, we're actually going to be doing a ribbon cutting for the beautiful mural to welcome it and open it up to the community. So please come in on Saturday. There's a lot going on in the mall to support your community through the Yorktown Home Show and through a couple of other things that we have going on that day. It's going to be busy and fun, so stop in on Saturday definitely to see that at 1 o'clock. And if you ever have an idea or something that you want to bring to life, please remember that the mall is here for you, whether you need a room to have a meeting in or you want to try something new out. We're definitely into having the community be a partner of ours. So thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
I want to say one or two words for inspiring. Really, you know what you have done. Just you are very familiar with the Alliance for Safe Kids. So what matters in a life is every act of integrity, the compassion or sacrifice, your time, the compassion or sacrifice that enrich, empower, and encourage others to emulate your example. And it is not what you bought, but what you built, and not what you got, but what you gave. So yesterday is already a dream. Tomorrow is only a vision. But today value makes every yesterday dream of happiness and every tomorrow vision of hope. And you have given that hope, not for yourself and a family, but the community and the nation at large. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Amelia, thank you. Thank you for what you did in the mall. And Heather, thank you for allowing this to take place. It's really a good thing, and it only benefits ASK, who at this point is now struggling to get the funding they need to continue to help our youth. And if anybody can write a letter to your state government and say, hey, look, let's support ASK, please send a letter out. But even to take this one step further, folks, our youth, our young adults are our future. And this is just 4 examples, one who was out sick today, of what our community is about. And our community is about what these young adults are bringing to it. And they're bringing to it a lot of wonderful stuff. I mean, just the study on the water and the sewage, and the beautiful mural there to try and raise money for a very laudable organization. It's a wonderful thing. It's touching. Thank you guys so much, all of you. Thank you.
Amelia, before you go, you do have a certificate from the board. We'll come to you. But again, thank you for your skills, for sharing that beauty with us, and we're looking forward to being there for the ribbon cutting and sharing that with the entire community and having the entire community enjoy that. So thank you very much.
And just real quick, for those who don't know where the community room is in the mall, because I don't know if everyone's familiar, if you go upstairs to the food court, straight back where the office is and the restrooms, in the back left-hand corner of that hallway is the community room. So, thank you. No problem. Yes.
Councilman? We're going to bring right over here. Hey, great. All right. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
It's like the where. It's like the where is. Relax those muscles.
Stick that. We're gonna make you stick that thing out there. Oh.
Should we do introductions? I guess we'll go right to introductions.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna resume back to the original agenda here. We're gonna go right back to introductions.
Good evening, everyone. Maura Weissletter, Deputy Town Clerk.
Vishnu Patel, Yorktown Councilman.
Matt Slater, Town Supervisor.
Tom Diana, Councilman.
Ed Lachman, Councilman.
Adam Rodriguez, Town Attorney.
David Paganelli, Highway Superintendent.
Okay, it's hard to beat those presentations. I'm going to do my best.
I'm going to say, though, there is some more information about the mall and some of the projects coming up shortly, too. So,
okay, great.
I saw some people getting ready to leave.
So a few updates. Let's begin with the fact Thursday and Friday of this week, Maura, if I'm correct, Town Hall will be closed for records management.
Correct.
So that's, again, Thursday and Friday.
Vital statistics will still be in service.
Excuse me?
Any vital statistic
Vital
will still be in service.
Vital statistics will still be in service, and I do believe if anyone needs anything from the supervisor's office, we'll be here as well. Some updates on some projects from our planning department. The train station over at Railroad Park. They're nearly completed with what they're calling Phase 1 with the slate roof, which is great, and they're going to be moving over to the chimney next. Again, for everyone at home who don't know, we're going to be turning that into our local information center with possible concessions right on the county trailway there, which is exciting. From our water department had approximately half a dozen main breaks in the month of January. They did a great job, as always, repairing all of those, including the one across the street from my house. You also, folks, should have had received a water bill. And you can pay your water bill online, yorktownny.org/water. From our library, we've got some. Let me grab some. Laura, can you put that up more?
Yep, I got to rehook in.
We've got a couple of exciting things coming out of the library. First off, when you walk in the first floor, it's going to be a little brighter because they finished replacing their lights on the first floor with LEDs, which we're very excited about. Secondly, which one do you want to start with?
Just give me a sec. I got to tie it back in.
Okay. For those who don't know, it's the 100th anniversary of the John C. Hart Library this year, which we're very, very excited about. So we're going to be celebrating the library throughout the year. I know that they're planning in September a Great Gatsby Gala, which they're going to be. I see some. I know you're going to be there.
How about the logo, Matt?
Which logo would you like?
Oh, there was something
around.
There
you go. And so here is the 100th year anniversary logo of the John C. Hart Library. Again, we're going to be rolling out a bunch of events in the spring and going throughout the year. Very excited about that. And then secondly, the library has changed their overall logo to what you see on the screen. John C. Hart Memorial Library. That is their new logo that you're going to start seeing publicized as well. And they continue to do great work over at the library. Also, let's see. This weekend, I had a great time with my 4-year-old son overseeing Pinocchio here at the Yorktown Stage. The Yorktown Stage, one of the gems of this community. It was I got to tell you, as a parent with young children, this was perfect, absolutely perfect to bring my 4-year-old to. It was a 45-minute performance. He loved it. He's already asking to go back. And so, for my fellow parents at home, mark your calendars for February 29th. We will be having The Lion King, which is again geared towards children. Another 45-minute production right here at the Yorktown Stage, and you can go on their website to purchase tickets. For our adults, their next production will be The Sound of Music, April 24th to the 26th at the Yorktown Stage. And you can find more information on their website or on Facebook. But again, just a great asset for our community that we're very excited to see. Update from Mohegan Ave Bridge. We've finalizing the contract for the material study, which seems to be the next step. And our goal is to begin replacing the bridge, right, Highway Superintendent Paganelli, this spring.
Yes, this spring.
This spring. And also with Highway Superintendent Paganelli and our town planner, John Tegeter, we spent time today at the DOT, Department of Transportation Regional Office, meeting with the Lance McMillan, who is the DOT Regional Director, as well as his team. We spoke a lot about infrastructure needs here in Yorktown, specifically Route 202, potential turning lanes in Route 202. We talked about Route 6. And the one that I really was excited about talking about was the Bear Mountain extension, completing the Bear Mountain Parkway extension, which would alleviate a lot of the traffic off of Route 202. That was a project that was supported across communities, Yorktown, Peekskill, and Cortland a number of years ago. At what point it was on the TIPS list, and we're hoping to generate support again to re-engage in that process as well. Some unfortunate news to share. Our neighbors across the street, Soundview Prep, for those who haven't heard, have closed their doors. They're closed as of January 31st due to financial hardship, and we wish everyone there the best. We understand that the students are that they're working with the students to make sure that for those who are supposed to graduate, that they are still able to graduate, and there's a process for them to transfer to other schools. Section 8, we had a meeting with Karen Perez of Section 8. As those of you who may remember, we reopened Section 8 for a short period of time this year. We had 400 slots and received 6,500 applications. So a lot of applications for those needs, and our Section 8 housing staff is going through those. They are also undergoing a HUD audit, which is expected to be completed this week. And lastly, I also want to two more things. Excuse me. Our refuse department. I want to thank our refuse department. They did a great job picking up all the Christmas trees around town, and they also did a litter pickup for Stony Street, Baldwin Road, and Underhill Avenue. So we appreciate their efforts as well. And lastly, February 15th and February 22nd. If you want to go learn how to make sugar, and you want to go learn how to tap a maple tree, go see our friends over at White Oak Farm on the south side of town. A very exciting program that they've got going, and that's in advance of, I believe it's Maple Weekend, which we're going to be celebrating here in Yorktown once again in the month of March. We'll have more information there. But White Oak Farm, February 15th and February 22nd, another just phenomenal asset for the town of Yorktown. Family fun, family-oriented farm with just an exciting thing for us to all take advantage of.
Also, the biggest maple syrup producer in the lower part of New York State.
Correct. Thank you. Yes. They also have great honey, by the way. I just love their honey. So, Councilman Patel.
All right. It's my turn. Yeah, I think your certificate was delivered to the Eagle Scout.
Thank you.
On France Bravo. Really, he did a very good project at Guiding Eyes. He painted cement painting to match the color, so contrasting the green grass and pathway so you can see better. It was a very nice ceremony. And this is the troop 172 is a new troops and with American Legion. And this is the first Eagle Scout from their troop. So it was a very nice event yesterday. The second thing, Supervisor just mentioned something about what was that? Some few years ago, you said something. What was that?
Which one?
All right. The second thing you said. All right. Huh?
The Bear Mountain extension?
Okay. I was at a meeting 30 years ago. It was a 40 million project. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a picture of those guys, and some of the engineers still there, and now they don't have money.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, it was a very productive conversation, though.
Wow.
It was.
Yeah, it was nice.
And Highway Superintendent Paganelli can attest. The words "no" never came out of their mouths.
Right. They bantered it around a bit, but they were very receptive to what we were looking for.
But it's nice to be able to start something again. It's only then, and if they had money, they would have. Now it's probably a lot more money.
I'm sure it is, but they agree that if we can re-energize the project and foster partnerships with our neighbors and our elected officials on the state level, It's definitely something that can be resurrected and put back on the tips list, and hopefully we can accomplish it.
So that was a really nice weekend, so thank you.
Councilman Diana.
Thank you, Supervisor. Just to reiterate what the supervisor said, our Yorktown stage is really a jewel of the community. And folks, if you haven't visited there for one of our plays, please stop in on one. They do a lot of great plays there. They're children's plays, and not only are they children's plays, but oftentimes they're done by the kids, which is a great thing. Matter of fact, I think Ed Mahoney left, but his son used to be in a number of them. Yeah. And a really great actor and aspiring actor. He did a really great job.
Actually, Lion King is all kids.
It's all kids.
All kids.
Every time you say Lion King, Ed thinks it's him because of the lions. Okay, I just want to. All right, so he thinks he's the Lion King.
I have stepped back from that responsibility. That would be Jim Poulin.
Okay, very good.
Right now.
Whose birthday it was? Happy birthday, Jim.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Jimmy.
But I also attended the Four Chaplains ceremony at the Legion Hall on Veterans Road this past weekend. And I had somebody that came up to me to say, it was the first time that I've been there, and I didn't know that this happened. These are the things that we should be teaching in our schools, little presentations and so forth, to enhance the knowledge of the students there of the wars that have occurred here in recent times that they're just not getting. It's really such a nice 45-minute ceremony that if you get the chance, generally it's on or about the 3rd of February. Generally that's Sunday. It's usually Super Bowl Sunday. If you can go, take the 45 minutes, 2 o'clock, you're out of there by 2:45. And it's a moving and it's an educational ceremony, followed by the Post Everlasting, where they actually do a ceremony to remember the soldiers that have passed from the post within the past year and who have passed previously.
They burn their Legion cards.
And they burn their Legion cards right there, and they then go to the Post Everlasting. But it's a really great thing, and if you get the chance, please go. Ed?
Yeah, just on the Post Everlasting, you do not, if you know someone who passed who did not belong to Post 1009, that is quite all right. The Post Everlasting is open for all, I guess.
It's open for business.
Yeah, and there's it's not just the people from our community; they're people from all over. Unfortunately, this year I was in the city and could not make the Four Chaplains ceremony, but I've been there before. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
They do a nice job.
One thing that I was at yesterday, the Yorktown Chamber of Commerce, and I think I see our president back there, Sergio. Sergio Esposito had tasked one of their members, Bruce Apar, with trying to start since we've been talking so much about plays, a chamber arts council. So similar to some of the neighboring communities. And they put together, I believe it was 15 people yesterday in a room to start bantering the ideas. And there were an amazing mix of people, really coming up with some good foundation and solid work. And I know Supervisor Slater has that on his plan as well, so hopefully there could be a nice mesh into that system.
Great minds, right, Sergio? There will be a nice great minds think alike.
So there was some great ideas there, but first, the chamber and their involvement in our town is phenomenal. It's not just limited to businesses. They really go above and beyond and try to do the right thing and the enhancement of the arts. But, I want to get back, and I said we'd talk a little bit about the mall at this point, and I see Heather's still here. It was hosted at the community room in the mall. There's been talk about maybe some space in the mall, whether it becomes, a headquarters or even a display and some artwork that was bantered around last night without Heather being there. But a way to highlight and show, and it just talks about the corporate citizenship that the mall is held. This week they're hosting the Saturday they're hosting the Chambers home show. They have the young lady Amelia, who I think has left already because she has school tomorrow. Amelia did some great work there, but there was also another young lady who couldn't make it today. But I think it's important to talk about her thing too. And she's actually not even from New York. She's a Connecticut person, I believe. Her name is Lulu Stevan. She's a high school junior from Connecticut. And she's having a fundraiser this Saturday, February 8th at the mall to benefit the Alzheimer's Association, the Hudson Valley chapter. Her fundraiser that will run from 12 to 4 is called Memory Marathon, and there will be memory-related games where children and adults are invited to participate in exchange for donations to the Alzheimer's Association. So if you're going to the mall, there's a great reason, actually a bunch of great reasons this weekend, and go and support Lulu. I don't know many people who haven't been touched by Alzheimer's now. I know my wife's grandmother passed from it. So it's just so prevalent in our society, and we're hoping for the day that there's a cure there. And it's great to see our kids taking that mantle at, juniors and seniors in high school and even lower, kids of younger ages, just getting involved with that and doing what's needed. So that is pretty much all I have.
I just want to add one more thing
please,
about
Councilman.
the chaplains. In 1943, when the World War came reality, people could not believe that this will happen to us. So there was a luxury liner with, it was really very fancy, but because of the war, they converted into the armed forces place to go and fight our freedom. And torpedo hit, and it was really very bad accident or whatever you want to call for it. Out of 1,000 people, 25% survive. But those who survive, the poor chaplain, they were comforting, but at the same time, their equipment, so they can survive themselves, they gave it to the other families, and the younger soldier.
Yeah, their life,
they
handed
the
off
life
their life
jacket,
jackets.
they gave their own, and they gave their life, and that's why they were recognized.
Right.
It's really quite a moving ceremony. We've been going, so it was really very nice ceremony,
Right.
And the second thing I was just going to mention to the 100th anniversary of the library, if somebody would like to, help, they have friends of library organizations, and it was really very thing. They do a lot of good things, They bring their children, but some of the senior citizens, they go over there and they participate in program, and you can help somebody take the book to their home. And a very nice program. So thank you for mentioning that.
Absolutely, and they're doing the Friends are doing that fundraiser in September, the Great Gatsby Gala, which 1920s theme should be a lot of fun.
And I want to tell you, there is no place in Yorktown town government building has a bathroom like that. Okay, they did a really good job.
That's very true.
And it was a nice contribution.
Yep.
For your tax dollar on some matching grant or something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you,
nice.
Councilman. Highway Superintendent Paganelli.
Okay, I'll try to be brief. We won't be closed for records management, of course. We'll be out doing our thing. We're expecting some bad weather tomorrow evening between 10 tomorrow night into about 3 a.m., about an inch of freezing rain and ice. So just be aware of that. I want to talk about, we had our first meeting this year with our new liaison, Councilman Diana, of the Traffic Safety Committee. In the past, we've passed laws, and after the fact, people have come and said, well, geez, I didn't want that stop sign there. Well, what we are going to do tonight is we're going to tell you what we're proposing. We will schedule it for a public hearing. When that public hearing is advertised, that is your opportunity to come in and voice your either approval or disapproval and explain your reasons why whatever these proposals are. These proposals come from a variety of different sources, the town board, the town clerk, the police department, highway directly, residents themselves just calling. So right now what's being proposed and will be scheduled for public hearings are a full stop at Winona Trail at the intersection with Mohegan Avenue. Full stop on the Wilhansick. We refer to the service road as, we don't have anything else to call it, and Leland Drive. a full stop on Wren at Suncrest, because it's a very wide intersection, and we need to tighten that up a little bit. Full stop on Sherry Drive at Ellen Lane, because there's a school bus there. There's a new development at the end of Sherry Drive. A full stop on Mark Road at White Hill, because it's a blind hill. A full stop on Park Lane at the Mohansick Service Road, because people use the service road to get to one end or the other of Mohansick. A full stop on Mohansick Service Road northbound at Park Lane. A stop sign on East Main Street westbound at number 990 East Main Street, the intersection of East Main Street and Route 132. And my intent is, should this one pass, we're going to make that a flashing sign, because anything we put in new in that kind of a high-density area, we really have to make sure people are aware of it. And as well, a three-way stop at East Main Street and Stony Street. Scheduled there, the hope is everyone is working towards putting a traffic control device there, a light. But in the interim, there's been a lot of interest in putting a three-way stop sign up there to sort of, people do tend to, drive rather rapidly on East Main Street because it's a long corridor. And maybe it'll discourage some of those tractor trailers from bypassing the lights on Route 6. In addition to which, no parking on Keir Street, the north side, westbound from the intersection of Commerce and Underhill for 80 feet. So that would basically, the Shell station that's there on the corner, they have an access and egress from Commerce and from Keir. They're between their access from Keir Street to the corner, there's always a car parked there. And unfortunately, where the car's parked to go to the barbershop or Trailside Cafe, oftentimes they're sort of sticking out in the road. You can't make that turn because there's a car there. We get a lot of tractor trailer traffic. All the UPS trucks go that way. So we're going to eliminate that one parking space. And potholes. Okay, stop. I'm talking about potholes.
So are we.
This early? Yeah.
Excuse me. Highway purchased a hot box this year, which we just tripped the 100-ton mark today. That we've picked up 100 tons of hot material from the RCA plant down in Mount Vernon at 4 tons a trip, and we've been put out 110 tons of material filling our potholes. So if any of you at home or any of you in the audience have potholes you're aware of, if you could call my office or email me and let us know, it allows us to schedule the work, more succinctly and get them done more quickly. So, that's what we count on our fellow residents to help us out at a time like this and, let us know where the problems are. So that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just as a, go ahead.
You guys can arm wrestle over this?
Well, we may. All right. Just as a thought on what Highway Superintendent Pagnelli was saying, we know that the 4 signs at East Main Street and Stony Street are a temporary until we get the stop sign put in. I'm sorry, the stop light put in there. The other part of the equation to the stop sign that's going to put down by that address, which is approximately Pirelli Electric on East Main Street, is that there's going to be line delineation there that comes off of 132, which kind of brings you around, and you're kind of looking, you'll be able to look up and down to see with a stop bar, so that it's a very visual indicator that you have to stop there. Now what we have is nothing. So people don't even realize that you have to stop there, and they're just blowing right through. So now there'll be a little bit of a safety margin there for our motoring public.
Oh, that one will also be a flasher. So there'll be 2 flashers at that intersection.
That'd be a great.
And then, some people.
Because you can't turn your
bit-
head like the Exorcist to see who's coming from that right lane.
No,
That's
it's tough.
totally impossible.
All right. I think at this
Mr.
point.
Donnelly?
Oh, sorry, Ed.
That's okay.
Councilman Lachterman had one more thing to add.
For a man that I'm often confused to be, and he the same with me, Bruce Apar actually sent me a message. Just want to remind everyone that this Friday, 7 p.m. at Yorktown Stage is Yorktown's Got Talent. It's a fundraiser to benefit the Yorktown Cub Scouts. The information is on the stage website, and our judges are scheduled to be Chief Noble, Judge Raniolo, Alice Roker, Jessica Lynn, and it's going to be emceed by Bruce Apar.
Very nice.
Excellent. Thank you.
7 p.m. this Friday, Yorktown Stage.
Awesome.
All right. I'd like to make a motion at this point to schedule these for
When do we have the next availability
next
for a public
available
hearing?
for public hearing.
Well, probably 2 weeks. Well, no, we have to notice them.
We have to know some
10
days.
days.
So, yeah, probably not the next town board, the following one, so I have to have about 30
Okay.
days.
We'll get them
I'll
done.
give you the calendar.
So we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. So we'll schedule those.
Sorry, who seconded?
I did.
Councilman Lachman. Mr. McMullen, Poet Laureate.
Two quick things. First, on the John C. Hart Library, I run 2 workshops there a month. One a poetry workshop on the second Wednesday of the month at 6 o'clock. Then one on the fourth Wednesday on the business of writing. So if anyone's interested to see me.
Thank you.
The other thing, Tom mentioned the young children. A fellow that I'm very close with, who's spoken here, Vin DeQuino, who wrote the play years ago. He said that the greatest child actor that he ever had was 9-year-old Eddie Lockerman.
And he's still going.
Clean the fish. The friend with whom I used to work often said when some of his staff tried to shy away from boring, tedious tasks, somebody has to clean the fish. I was at my local town board meeting last night. I wrote this the day after. A group composed of 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats. I was happy to see that they appeared to work well together, without rancor, with respect, and they listened. While such issues as sewer districts, snow removal, the funds for conferences, vandalism, aid to veterans, youth suicide prevention, and the Boy Scout project were discussed. Not earth-shaking issues, but of some importance to my 37,000 residents of the town. I came home feeling good, but unfortunately my wife had the impeachment hearing on. What a difference. Certainly a momentous issue is being argued, the removal of a president, but the 2 sides might as well have been speaking in different languages, perhaps Arabic and Polish. There had to be something that could be agreed upon, even some small thing. But no, the disdain and rancor in the room could be felt through the television screen. Gone seemed to be the days when Bill Bradley and Adam Simpson, one a Democrat and the other a Republican, shot baskets together, or Ted Kennedy and Orrin Hatch were best friends. I guess it's easier to clean the fish than to look objectively at big issues. But should it be? Thank you.
Thank you, John. We'll be opening courtesy the floor.
Good evening, Jay Kopstein.
Mr. Kopstein, good evening.
This comes off of the work session that we had last week. First, the Ethics Board. We need a rewritten ethics law that requires financial disclosure statements and an enforcement processes with an impact. Secondly, we're very, very fortunate that we have an elected official on a voluntary board, on a town board, who is not only good, he's dependable. But that's not always going to be the case. So, the town code should be amended going forward to prohibit elected town officials and town employees from serving on town boards due to the potential conflict of interest. The town supervisor may designate elected officials or town employees to be liaisons to town boards. And finally, lame duck appointments. Elected town officials remain such until the end of their terms. Therefore, their authority to function should not be diminished in the event that they are not reelected. Similarly, appointments made by the supervisor should not be impeded by a failure to be reelected. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kopstein. Next.
Good evening. Before my remarks, I just want to mention the Alzheimer's fundraiser. Having a loved one going through dementia, please do everything you can to support those fundraisers.
They also have a walk coming up this summer, and I'll let you know the dates when it's
Yeah.
there, Mark.
So first I would like to praise Diana Quest for her excellent performance on the Parks and Recreation Commission. Just look at the Granite Knolls Sports Complex. This enormous project has turned out to be the talk of the county. Why would you not reappoint an MVP to the winning team? I would also like to point out the supervisor's stated intent to manage in a nonpartisan manner. That was his goal when he presented his vision team last week, which is in the newspaper. But within 5 weeks of his inauguration, the town board will make an extremely partisan decision. They will replace the MVP of the opposition with their own man. So much for bipartisan leadership.
Next.
Hi, I'm shorter, I'll have to. I'm Marcia Stone from Shrub Oak Park Community Association, a longtime resident. I'm here because of the proposed appointment of Richard Romansky to the Parks and Recreation Committee. I have 2 points to bring up regarding this proposed appointment. Number one, Alice Roker is very ill and unable to be here tonight. It's my understanding that she would like this agenda item to be postponed until the next town board meeting, when she will be able to attend. It's also my understanding that these requests have historically been honored. It's my hope that Alice's request will be honored. She is too sick to speak to anybody here tonight about it. Not to mention that Diana Quast is also ill and unable to be here tonight either, and she would be directly affected by this proposal. So lots of illness around, so everyone please stay healthy. Number two, it's my understanding that Rick Romansky is president of the Yorktown Youth Soccer Program, which is a not-for-profit organization. However, he owns Kids Inc., which is a local for-profit soccer program. Kids Inc.'s for-profit summer camps are run in conjunction with the Parks and Recreation Department of Yorktown using various fields throughout the town. In addition to Kids Inc. runs a for-profit men's Friday men's outdoor soccer program that meets at the Granite Knolls complex. These are all when they're not using indoor facilities that they pay for elsewhere. And they obviously pay for facilities here too. The people who are on the board of the Parks and Recreation Committee should have someone appointed who does not have a personal financial interest in that position and instead represents the town's taxpayers in general. Yorktown taxpayers have the right to be represented by someone whose decisions on that board would not benefit them personally. Diana Quast has no personal financial interest in being a member of the board of the Parks and Recreation Committee. Diana Quast has done an amazing job on that committee, and she should continue to represent the taxpayers of Yorktown on the board of Parks and Recreation Committee. Thank you for consideration to this matter.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen. Joanne Sillick, Yorktown Heights. Before I go into my remarks, I just would like to follow up on the Fort Chaplain service. I was there also on Sunday, and it was very moving, especially for me and my family. We lost a veteran 6 months ago, member of Special Forces, and I was so surprised that I could fill out a card, have it burned there in his memory, and I also purchased a brick in his memory. So, beautifully done. Okay, well, we're in a new year with new beginnings and new challenges. I look forward to speaking before the town board in maintaining and improving the quality of life that we all enjoy in Yorktown. We are very fortunate to have a police department under Chief Noble that consistently works so hard in keeping Yorktown residents safe. By the way, has there been any new information on the investigation about the vandalism? I also want to thank our town board for all your work in working so diligently along with the Yorktown Police. They're aces. Also, regarding rezoning, has there been any further action from the developers, Diversified Properties? The last information we have was what they stated at our street fair, that they would be breaking ground in the fall of 2020. Has there been any activity on their application? We have been told that it is applicant-driven. Have they driven anything? Also, is there a time limit on this application? Does it go on forever without an expiration date? If there is activity from the developers, how and when is the public made aware of it before the public hearing? Anyway, I wish you all a wonderful 2020, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Next.
Good evening. It's Louise DeMarco from Jefferson. Jefferson Village. This is just a follow-up of a follow-up of a follow-up of a follow-up. It's about the 150 rental units which are proposed for Summit Hill. My question is this. This is going to be easy peasy. It's not even going to take 5 minutes. I've been getting a lot of questions about what is going on over there. Has anything happened? Have they reactivated the application? As a matter of fact, the only one that I've gotten any information from, and he was very kind enough to see me, was John Tegeter. I had sent out letters to everybody to the town. I won't even go into it now. And we met at his office, and he gave me quite a bit of information. He also said that if Diversified Properties wants to reactivate their application and go ahead with the rezoning, it will be done through Steinmetz. It will be given to the town board and the supervisor's office. So just asking, has anything happened? Is there any vetting? Supposedly they held up their application because they wanted to do some research also about the property, whether it was advantageous to them or not. That's my only question.
Thank you. Okay. Next.
Hi, George Winsman, 40-year resident of Westchester County, Yorktown. I'd just like to ask the town board, I didn't want to go before this again, we did it last year, but this time the governor has decided there's no bail, there's bail reform. It's really a bad idea. I've called up Senator Harkin's office, and I get a whole bunch of double talk. Well, they're going to reform it, so the judge has discretion. Well, I said, if you repeal the law, the judge had discretion before this was put into place and rammed down everybody's throat. There's a lot of bad stuff going on with this. I think the town board should get together because the people are blowing back. When Mayor de Blasio says there's something wrong, you know it's really that bad. The second thing is the marijuana law. We go back to this. In one hand, the governor is saying, we're not going to have vape. In the other hand, he says, we're not going to have drugs, but you can smoke marijuana. What kind of message are you giving the kids? It's ridiculous. He's trying to make money off of this. That's what he's doing. But in my past career, have done many accidents where marijuana was in the person's system. We up here in Westchester County drive just about everywhere we go. We're not in New York City where a subway can take us somewhere. This morning on the way to work, I saw a guy smoking a joint going to work on the Taconic State Parkway, and that was at 7:10. I mean, this is really getting out of hand. I think the town board should get together and write a letter to Mr. Harkin. Again, I spoke to Mr. Harkin. I got a whole bunch of double talk. One, he goes, well, we're going to have more money for drug enforcement. Well, that's what you're trying to get out of the tax. And the other thing is, we're going to increase our patrols for DWI. Well, why are you doing this? It makes absolutely no sense. So I think the town board should, get together and speak to Mr. Harkin. I mean, if the governor tells him to jump, that's what he does. He jumps. And all they're doing it is for the taxes. Let's be honest. And guess what? It's not going to work. I've been to many towns where it's states where it is legal. And you buy a little bag of marijuana for $15, $5 tax. Well, you have that little bag of marijuana. So after you finish it, You go to your local drug dealer and only pay $10 for that little bag of marijuana because it's in the state envelope. So I really think, the town board should get together. If you want to keep people safe, you're talking about Alliance for Safe Kids. This is a perfect example. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
Next.
Good evening. John Capobasso, 405 Courting. Actually, I was just coming up to speak about a couple of the same things that gentleman spoke about. Bail reform. Just a curiosity is, as people are being let back out on the streets if they're coming into Yorktown, what is our police department? Are they being notified? What steps are they taking to keep the public safe? So that's a question that I really have in my head. Young kids in the town, people are being released. They're supposed to be nonviolent. It seems like that has drastically changed in the last couple of weeks. Another item from the work session, battery storage, which has come up a bunch of times. I do not believe that 3/4 of an acre of property is adequate for a battery storage unit. I don't know who knows about the battery storage units, but the public should be made aware of what's going on with those projects and the different types and all these different things. My next thing, senior center. We're all going to get there. I'm just curious, it's come up in every administration that's been up there. Is there anything going on with the senior center? It's been talked about in a building, maybe another building. Is there a plan in place, and is that still on the agenda? Because, like I said, we should take care of our seniors and veterans and children, but it's something that's come up several times. As far as Parks and Rec, I think I've probably been involved as a volunteer for, I think it's going on 21 years now, or 20 years. I got involved in 2000. Whether you keep elected officials, don't keep them, a decision needs to be made at this point. There's so much back and forth. There's mistrust. I think that everybody kind of wonders what's happening. They are volunteers, but there's a lot of volunteers that will put their time in. I, for one, put in an application to be on that board. It's not personal. I just hope that you guys come to a decision at some point. Again, all the volunteers, I appreciate what they do. As the president of the Yorktown Athletic Club, we do have great facilities. Let's just make a decision and move on so it's behind us, because there's a lot of bad blood that's starting to go on. So, but that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Ed Safone. First, I'd like to wish you good luck, Matt, in your new position.
Thank you, sir.
And I'd like to thank Monty Gilbert for the 2 years of his service. Did a lot of good. Okay, now, I'm asking someone out there, younger than me, to take my job over as president of the United Taxpayers of Yorktown. This is my 30th year since 1990. And I think I'm running out of energy.
Running out of steam, Ed?
Running out of steam. But if anybody, give me a call, 245-1018. I will not leave you alone. We have plenty of people to get you started, but we need that. And you're an example of a younger person in position. The last thing I want to say is that the budget, this is the first year that Ed Safone and Dom Roberts didn't go to the budget hearing. But this is the first year you reduced the budget. Well, you increased it by 0.113. Never heard of before. So I guess it was us, Don and myself, causing a problem as you kept raising taxes. No matter how we said, look at all the money you have. Look at all this. Look at this, how you can save. So we decided not to go, and I'm really glad. It must have been you, because I heard you say one time, we pay enough taxes here.
I think we've all said that at one time.
One time or another. But
We
I
knew
know
you
I've
couldn't
said.
be here, so we just wanted to save you the time.
Okay, but I really appreciate that and saving me the time and energy. All right, that's about it. On the sewers, we'll talk about it. I thought the engineer was going to be here and talk about the sewers. But it's the first time I heard in a long time that they said this $10 million can be used to fixing your septic system. When I first started knowing about that, that was the key. Not going sewers, because you don't have enough money for each person that has property to have a sewer. But you could probably take $10 million and help those people out with septic systems. So I know you're going to work it out one way or another. And the petition that you sent to everybody wasn't clear. You should put all the numbers down, saying how much it's going to cost you that live in that house, what it's going to cost. Because they shouldn't be surprised after it passed to pay all this money. All right, listen, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Safone. Next.
Good evening, everybody. Sergio Esposito, Comprehensive Computers, and I'm the president of the Yorktown Chamber of Commerce. Ed, I spoke to Lonnie about 45 minutes ago. He's doing really well. He sounds really relaxed. And his sister is doing well as well. I did want to ask.
That's the great news.
Yeah, it's really good news. So first thing I asked him, how's Alice doing?
Alice was in the hospital all last week.
Right.
I know she's home. We exchanged text messages consistently. So she's recovering. And I was unaware that she was not going to be here tonight. But we do hope she's doing better. And we wish her a speedy recovery and look forward to having her back here soon.
I didn't want to bother. I was going to call her, but, you get a million phone calls. So I wanted to, I stand in the back, and I often hear a lot of stuff about the Ethics Board. And for those who don't know, I am on the Ethics Board. I am actually just appointed secretary. So I just wanted to make a couple of comments. The Ethics Board had submitted changes, but they were not followed up on by the previous administration. There were also changes to the Ethics Board years and years and years ago. We had an expert come in. This is before I was on the Ethics Board, so I'm kind of going verbatim, not verbatim, off the cuff with what the changes were. They weren't implemented. So there has been some attempts to get the law, the ethics law, which is severely inadequate, changed and modified. The Ethics Board has continued to be senselessly attacked. I can tell you that the Ethics Board works together in a nonpartisan manner and works diligently to render fair, fact-based, nonpartisan decisions, but only after all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, and not a minute sooner. And I can tell you that we work under the law provided to us. And that's where the issue is. It's not with the people of the Ethics Board. It's really, the law is convoluted, it's twisted, there's so many, it's really not clear. So the next time you guys get upset with something that the Ethics Board has done or not done or whatever, consider reading the Ethics Code and you'll see what we have to deal with and how difficult it really truly is. Okay? With regard to diversified properties, I'm going to be reaching out to them on behalf of the Chamber, and I'm going to follow up with the status of the project. I know they're still interested, at least I believe they are. And honestly, I believe it would be beneficial to the town. However it manifests itself, I don't think it's we should just sit here and say no or yes or make claims. Let's get them in here. It is based on their performance and what they want to do. And I'm going to be speaking with them because I do think it would be beneficial to the town and will put us in pace with what other towns and municipalities are doing around us. Let's get off these topics and let's get on something a little better, right? The town has indicated its willingness to work with any organization for the betterment of the town. And that's powerful. And I really appreciate that from you guys. And I know you guys are working with the Chamber. The previous administration has worked with the Chamber, but there's an electric energy with you guys that's going on now, and everybody could feel it. And so I just want to tell you that's powerful. It's exciting. I mean, you guys have no limits. You'll work with anybody as long as it's positive and it's good. I'm looking personally forward to, I'm very excited to merging with or doing something with the Arts Council because we have identified this void in the town. And you were, Matt, right, Supervisor Matt, you were right on point with pointing out the gem that we really have that's, I think, underutilized and can be better utilized. As far as the mall goes, I'm so excited with the path that the mall is on and what they've been doing there. And I got to tell you, this Saturday, between 11 and 4, is our show, and I really appreciate you guys promoting that. I mean, you guys have really spoken up about that in this session, and it's much appreciated by the chamber and myself. But it's at 11:04. I have a photo of it. I was told to hold it at my chest, Tom. And so we're going to have all sorts of stuff: windows, flooring, home restoration, home security, solar energy, HVAC, inspections, painting. It's sponsored by Jilco. It's going to be a really great event. And because, Ed, thank you for mentioning my name, I was invited to the two ceremonies for Amelia Silverman and Lily Stavan. And the two ceremonies are going to be at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. I don't think we mentioned the times. So those ribbon cuttings for them are going to be really exciting, too. So I hope everybody could join us. I hope everybody could be there. The event, the chamber event is free. It's going to be packed there. I think we have 40 or 50 vendors coming. All right? Guys, continue the good work. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sergio. Next.
Thank you.
You're done. You're out.
I'm out.
You're finished.
You're done. You're out. Hello. Don't worry. This isn't. I just wanted to feel important coming up here with something. This is actually the agenda. Jim Puglisi, 355 Courting Road. Also, Vice President of YAC. Couple things. You know, I agree with what has been said about the bail reform. It bothers me, being a father of 3 here in Yorktown. So yeah, I hope that that's something that changes and changes fairly quickly. Another thing I just wanted to bring up that's on the agenda, being VP of YAC, is the YCC, or the Al Capolini building, the gym. I know it's on here. I see the repairs for the pipe, but also it definitely has, hindered youth sports. Our youth program, basketball, is run out of there, as well as our schools. But we have to, obviously change and go elsewhere and go to our school district, which also isn't, which also costs, which we didn't budget for. So hopefully that'll get fixed fairly quickly. With regards to the commission, I'd like to say, just to the gentleman who attacked, in my opinion, attacked the board in favor of, Diana Quast, who I personally like. I have nothing against. But I don't feel it's right, again, my opinion, that an exiting administration appoint a paid town employee to a recreation committee. I also challenge that everyone who came up here to speak, I don't remember seeing at any Parks and Rec meeting. I go to Parks and Rec meetings once a month, every Thursday, first Thursday of the month. And I don't remember seeing anyone who came up to speak at any of these meetings. So as much as it's in your hands, and I agree with Mr. Campobasso, we do need to make a decision on it. But whatever that decision is, again, you talked about, working bipartisanly. That's not acting in good faith when you appoint someone to a new administration either. So it's just my opinion.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Next.
Good evening, Susan Siegel. I'll try to be brief. Okay, I have 3 questions about 3 items on the agenda for resolutions, which is a good reason why the courtesy of the floor should be at the beginning of the meeting and not at the end. You may not have the answers to my questions, so depending upon how you feel, you may want to postpone the resolution. Depends on that. The first one has to do with the approving the certiorari settlement for the Verizon building. It's a 3-year settlement. I understand that the assessment had to be reduced because the building's been vacant, but is the town board aware that the building is now being leased? So I'd like to know whether the reduction that you're approving for 2019, how many years that will carry over, and will you be able to raise the assessment in 2020 because they're going to be generating more income? All right. So I don't know, and special certiorari council deals with that. Okay. The second question has to deal with the approving the submission of the wetlands permit to the DEC for the Par 3 golf course, which I think is a wonderful project. What I'd like to know is, I don't know what the fee is for the state wetlands permit, but who's paying it? All right. And I mean, there are a whole kit and caboodle of permit requests that will be required for that. Some they've already done, like a building permit and a demolition permit. I don't know if they've paid the fee. I don't remember the town board ever waiving those fees. But what is that permit? Because I think as per the contract that they have, they are responsible for all of the costs associated with the improvements, but it is town-owned property, and that could be a substantial cost for that one. The third one has to do with the winery, and it seems like just reading from the resolution that there are still a lot of open questions ABACA has about the sign, and I'm just wondering if perhaps the board should hold off on the approval resolution for the sign until the applicant has satisfied ABACA on a variety of issues. Those are my questions. But I also want to comment about what Serge said about the Ethics Board. This has been an issue that's been very dear to me. The code was redone when I was supervisor in 2010. When I was on the board in 2015, Sergio is right. The town did have, the Ethics Board members did come and requested changes to the law. And then the town did hire a consultant who revised things. The law itself is not as bad as I think Serge makes it out to be. The key issue that needs to be decided is who has authority between the town board and the ethics board. The way it stands now, the ethics board makes a recommendation to the town board, and then it's up to the town board whether to do anything with that. Right. I, for one, I think I've been before this board several times on a complaint that I issued. It's probably well over a year ago. I don't know what's ever happened to that. All right? Has it been resolved? Did the ethics board ever resolve it? Certainly, I would think that as somebody who filed the complaint, that I should know what has happened to it. Is it still within the ethics board? Has the ethics board sent it to the town board? What, if anything, has the town board done with that? So I think that's the key issue. But the actual substance of the law is really not the issue. It's the power between the town board and the ethics board, which has been a recurring theme. And there is a requirement in the law for financial disclosures every May, a certain list, but I have a feeling that that has not been enforced. All right? And basically, because I know I used to ask for how many have not returned, and they say, oh, we're going to send them a letter, we're going to send them a letter. I still have a feeling that that has not been done. I know somebody who serves on a board who hasn't even gotten a letter, although she's been on the same board for probably 10 years. So that's an issue, and that's the town board's responsibility. But I'd like to see the ethics board, the law revised, but not overhauled. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Next, Mr. Strauss.
Dan Strauss, 53-year resident, Woodfield Court. For the last 4 or 5 years, I've heard that people are lining up to rent apartments in Yorktown, market rate apartments. And I kind of questioned that along the way. They've talked about walkability of the Heights section. The Wyant project came up and went through various phases. And finally, about 6 months ago, it was approved for market rate rentals. 2 work sessions ago, lo and behold, the developer comes into Yorktown to the board and says he has more interest in purchase of the units, not apartments, because apartments would be rental. And he didn't say how many of those. He didn't say that he was able to rent any. So my question is, where are the people who are supposed to be falling over each other who want to rent apartments in the town of Yorktown, market rate? And if you can't find those people who are falling over each other, how are you going to approve or accommodate the Roma Building project that wants to rent at market rate 42 more apartments and then
150 more in Shrub Oak. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Strauss. Any other folks for courtesy of the floor?
Mr. Grasso.
Yes, sir. Mr. Grasso, of course.
It's been a very interesting evening in many aspects. On the Par 3 golf course property, many, many years ago, when it was set aside for what it is now, it was designed as a flood plain because Shrub Oak, whenever we had a major storm, was always flooded. Always. Those of you who live in Shrub Oak remember it. James Street and all those lower areas had to be evacuated. At the time, I was on the town board and had firsthand as to what went on. When the mall came in, it was designed to save or to preserve the 100-year storm. We had two of them during that period. We had changed the direction of the stream so it would run up and then make a turn and come back down, holding the water back. The surplus, of course, once the water was released, went across and came out where the golf course is now, and then under the Taconic, and then made its way down into Peekskill. So keep that in mind when you're working on the golf course. That's something to consider. The other item I wish to talk about is water. Dave and I have spoken about this for many, many years. I was on a committee years ago to where does this water come from that goes into our lakes? It comes from the town of Yorktown through its catch basins. We had at that time 5,800 catch basins. This part of town empties into the Amawalk River, which empties into the Amawalk Reservoir, which people in Yorktown drink. I had a plan where the town has 2 machines, I believe, that can clean the catch basins, but we can only clean what, Dave, 150 or so?
Yeah, we can inspect about 1,200 a year out of the 5,800 that we
Right.
have, but we probably clean about 250, 300.
So my suggestion was, and still is, there are 2 or 3 firms in the county that do their work on a professional basis. When I spoke to both the owners, they said, we can do, you want 200, 300, 400, let's do it. Let's get into a contract where we can clean these basins and make people understand the catch basins are not to dump material in it. That's the prime problem. Children's toys, oil, gasoline, anything that it's harmful. And we end up drinking it or somebody else drinks it. There's another part of town where everything goes into the Croton Reservoir. Well, the people in New York City drink that. So be very careful, but get the catch basins clean. They can be done in a short period of time and then get on a maintenance program. The housing program is coming along slow. If people want to buy a piece of property, let them buy it. If they want to build homes, if it's zoned that way, let them build homes. But go through the process, through the planning board, through the town board, before anything is done. Let's not assume that things get done just because people come up and speak publicly about it when they're not informed as to really what's going on. Those of us that attend board meetings here and to the planning board have firsthand knowledge. In fact, I just recently penned that we have a troika that goes to these meetings, and 3 of us are here this evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Grasso. Anyone else for courtesy of the floor?
Motion to close courtesy of the floor?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Board members, if you want to comment on some of the things that were brought forward, I've got comments.
Yeah, Mr. Winsman, I think that you might have face-to-face contact with the senator on Saturday at the Hart Library, if you'd like to go there. He's got a
I would love to, along with his closing the jail, the prisons down. His new, like, great idea.
No comments from the audience, please.
But
Thank you.
he's got about an hour-long symposium there on Saturday, I believe.
Yep,
I don't
Saturday.
recall the times, but I'm
Called
sure
the
it's
Hart
on,
Library. It's on their website.
it's on
too.
their website.
All right, just, there was a comment on the winery sign, and I read the report from Abaca. They're fine to go with it. They just wanted a couple of minor changes, but said, hey, we want final approval, so I don't think that should be an issue. You already talked about Harcum. Thank you, Mr. Safone, for your, I didn't realize 38 years for United Taxpayers. That's amazing. Just 30? I'm sorry. 30. I thought I heard 38.
Don't make 'em-
well, that's
don't make
just
it more.
fantastic, not amazing, but no, great job, Ed. Thank you. The question with the Wyant wanting to come in with rentals as well as for sale comes from two things. One is needed for the homeowners association agreement, just that there are options in there. But mainly, John DeVito had said that, hey, we've heard from the seniors that some of them want to buy, and it's something that they're going to contemplate. I don't think it had anything to do with the amount of people. I don't think they're close enough to knowing who wants to rent right now, because they haven't even broken ground yet. So I'm sure at one point or another they'll cross that bridge. But I think their intention has been to rent fully, but they're going to open up that option if there are seniors that are looking for the home. And it's great to see the response to the community.
And to Ed's point, I do believe that there is pride in ownership also, that when you own something, it becomes yours, and you're going to take better care of it than if someone is renting. So I personally don't have a problem with them separating if they want to rent, whatever the number is they're going to rent, and sell the other number that they want to rent. I'm sure there's people in here that have rentals that know the anxiety that you have when you have to go in there and tell them no smoking, no, you can't put holes in the wall, et cetera, and they just go ahead and do it anyway. So I do believe that there's pride in ownership, and then these people become, tax-paying Yorktowners. Thank you.
I have a comment, see if you can answer, or I was at the meeting of some of the guys, those who are assessor, and I still cannot figure out what will be the implications of taxes.
No implication at all.
No change. We asked that
but
question
he was
to
saying that there
the
is a
assessor.
different formula apply if you are a business guy versus the owner. So I'm not really sure about that. I got to find out more.
Well, if they own the property, they still own it. If they're renting it, they still own it. The taxing doesn't change.
The owner is a businessman. He has investment in a business. He can take in more deductions and like that. And if you are an owner, taxes are not even anymore. Your interest on a rental the rental is who owns the property, manages. He gets the benefits or loss. Okay, and a homeowner just only pay the taxes. So there was some really argument I had to figure out. I know he's a local guy, Hasaning, and it was really good guy, and he's very experienced. So I will find out on that one,
Yeah, our assessor's
because
office said
it's
no
going to
change.
affect the town. I want to just
Right.
know only about that.
No,
one.
we asked that through our assessor's
We've
office.
asked the assessor
Yeah.
specifically about that, and the assessor has confirmed multiple times that it does not change the assessment of the property, whether it's rental or purchase. Doesn't change. Everything.
No, but I just want to know myself. If you are a businessman, invest, in the property, and if you lose it, you have a bigger tax advantage than a homeowner alone. So is there any impact by?
You want to understand, understand the business model.
Yeah,
What you're telling me.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like you said, he is a local individual, so I'm sure you can get those answers from him. I don't know his business model offhand.
And then I just want to speak a little bit about the Parks Commission. As for the postponement, I've actually been pushing this for, a vote on this for 3 years about elected officials. I wasn't given the benefit of the doubt the last time that it came up, because I was away and I was not put on the agenda until the last minute. We've spoken about it. If we end up with a 2-2 vote, then we'll end up having to put it off. But I think it's something that we can move ahead with. There was a conversation about Rick Romansky and assigning him. I think it should be stated that he's already been on the committee.
Right.
And he's the alternate, which is when someone cannot finish those duties, they move up.
Or when someone's absent from a meeting,
right,
he slides in as a voting member.
Right.
So he's already taken votes as a member of the Rec Commission. So that argument, frankly, I don't think really holds merit because he's already appointed and acted.
Right. And the insinuation of it being partisanship, I had the same problem with no offense with Dave Paganelli and his appointment.
Right. Well, let's.
Why don't we go to Panera and talk about it?
Okay, we can.
Yeah. It's.
No. You know what? I just think it needed discussion. There were other people who came before us. And I've been very vocal about that, and it doesn't matter to me who that official is. I just think that there's a problem with officials in that and the blurring of lines. And then, finally, there was the question on lame duck appointment, and I think that, if you're appointing someone as a lame duck per se, meaning you're not getting back in on an open appointment, I don't see an issue with it. But our town board has had that example where when Dave moved up to highway or off to highway, and when Terrence moved off to Senate, they could not vote on their replacement because the opening did not open until they left. We appointed someone who was still running. There wasn't an open appointment. And that's where I feel the heart of this issue lies when we talk about, recalling it. So, I just wanted to get a little clarification into that.
A lot of discussion. I'm sorry, did you have some comments you
Nope.
want to make?
Nope.
A lot of discussion on the ethics law. I agree. I've said it before. I think we need to take a look at the ethics law and make some enhancements to it. I think there was some really good feedback tonight on some items that we should take a look at, which is great. Hill Street or the Summit Hill property, whatever you want to call it. Again, it is a applicant-driven process, and the application has not appeared on any additional agendas as of late. Bail reform in regards to the PD. I've all the confidence in the world of our police department, and if there's a situation that the public needs to be notified about, I believe that they will do so appropriately. If it's a situation that involves a juvenile, obviously that changes the rules of engagement slightly. But we have a fantastic police department. I speak with the police chief on a daily basis, and we are laser focused on making sure that public safety is number one, and communicating that to the public and making sure folks understand what is happening in our community. Obviously, is a big part of that conversation. The tax cert for Verizon. I understand. Yes, we do recognize that there's a project there right now, that they're leasing the project. Same scope though of the property. The site plan isn't changing, so we have not been advised of any issues from our assessor of any impact that will have. So I think that answers that. And regarding the generating more income, I wasn't clear on that question, and I can have a conversation with you offline on that, which is fine. For your par 3 golf course, the resolution tonight has the applicant, the company, filing that permit on behalf of the town. So we're authorizing the company to file the DEC permits. And as regards to the expectation is that they will be paying for those permits. Okay, and no, there is no resolution that we've found, and I know Jim Monterano's here and he can talk to this specifically, but there is no resolution that we found that waives fees for this specific project, even though it is on town land. Great. Let's see. I know there's, like I said, more issues on ethics. And with that, I think we can, and again, I also want to thank, there's Mr. Safone. Did you leave? Did you want to say 30 years in one day? But To his point on the $10 million for septic, I don't believe the county would actually approve that. They hold the purse strings on this. They're pushing for sewer. So I don't think that's a viable option for the $10 million that's been, and it's never been presented to us at this point in time. So having said that, I think we can move on to resolutions unless there's any further comment from any of the board members.
Yes, I have a question in reference to ethics. Do we want to make ethics board weaker or stronger?
I think the issue is stronger.
Okay,
is my
thank you.
understanding.
Thank you. Anyway, the other thing is, you can make it either weaker or stronger, but I have not seen all the people that has ever signed, their financial disclosure or whatever requirement. Maybe, and they give the list, nobody even call it for so many years, Then what is the purpose of making stronger or weaker? Yeah, I mean, and then I want to tell you something really. Somebody came in here, oh, this is the new ethics board member. Nobody asked before, And I will tell you, there was one individual came in here. He wasn't even aware why he was here. So then somebody took a picture of his website from the camera and gave it. You cannot do like this. So it has to be consistent and consistent.
A consistent process.
Yes,
I agree.
To the supervisor's point on the sewers, it almost becomes a gift of public funds if you're going to give money from a public entity to a private individual to utilize to improve their property. So I don't, that isn't something that could happen at this time.
Right, can I make a comment in reference to that one? There was some pond, I don't know where it is, but that somebody wants to pump it out their sewer and they have a leaky sewer or something. There was some kind of subsidy or something, I'm not really sure because it's a very small amount. What the county was doing something or DEC or something, helping the homeowners?
I mean, there's programs, there's loan programs that help homeowners, but to gift a homeowner.
No, you can't give the
right. Exactly. That's the issue at hand. John Campobasso mentioned senior center. I did want to actually bring that up quickly because we've actually engaged today in a conversation just about facilities in general and the need to take a full review and assessment of our facilities. It's a topic of conversation, but I turned to our Parks and Rec superintendent, and his rec office is a prime example of something that needs to be updated. I believe it was supposed to be a 1 or 2 year fix, and now we're in year 12, and needless to say, it's just not adequate for their needs, and so that's a conversation that we're starting to have about not just their facility, but all of our facilities, and if there's ways for us to enhance them and modernize them, and that, of course, would include a conversation about the senior center and the 6th grade school, which we're going to be talking about shortly through this resolution. Any other comments from the board? No. Great. We will go to resolutions. From the town supervisor, oppose the imposition of a toll on I-684. For those who don't know, the state of Connecticut is in the process of approving a toll on I-684 for that mile of road that you leave the state of New York, you enter the state of Connecticut and Greenwich and go back into New York. The agreement from on the state levels has been New York maintains that stretch of road. So I just, frankly, and the board will make their will known, I frankly believe it's highway robbery to be putting up a toll. No, pun intended. Absolutely pun intended. So
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And as an aside, I want to thank Chris Burdick, the Bedford Town Supervisor, who actually went to the Connecticut State Assembly. This, I believe, was yesterday, and testified at their hearing in the Connecticut State Assembly in opposition to this. He had sent an email to all of the supervisors, and I did authorize him to let them know that I personally opposed it, and that I'd be putting a resolution on tonight's agenda as well to echo that. Authorize supervisors sign an agreement with Municipal Code Corp. in an amount not to exceed $5,000 for the redesign and upgrade of the town's website. I'll just continue going through. Authorize.
Well, you know what? Let's do the supervisor ones one by one, if you don't mind.
Sure. So we're gonna.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very excited about that for a number of reasons, which we talked about last week. A new facelift for our town website. Last facelift was 2013, and we're paying the same amount of money. Authorize the supervisor to sign a permit application for RC Recreation Development, LLC, to submit application documents to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for the golf course project, which specifically means the par 3 golf course. I know we have Jim Moderano's here. I know Joe Falcone's here from our Parks Commission. Gentlemen, do you want to take the podium real quick if there are any questions that anyone wants to ask them? I know that, again, this was something that was brought up at courtesy of the floor, so this might provide greater clarity on the issue, but I hope I explained it sufficiently.
Yeah, I just wanted to address, because I wasn't sure about the question. In 2016, the board did waive the building fees, which has already
Building
happened.
fees.
But nothing for the park itself at this time.
Correct, but and so we already waived the building fees. They have a building permit already on file.
That's correct.
They've already started work there, and so this is for DEC and the wetlands issue.
Correct, yes.
So can I ask you something else? How much was the permit for the renovation of the building? Roughly amount?
The permit for the building, you waived $2,775.
Because the building is officially owned by the town, Parks and
Correct.
Recreation. So,
The
either
town
might come from
owns the
you or
building.
it's the same thing, yeah.
So this, again, to make sure I was clear, though, so we're authorizing RC Recreation to who's leasing the property basically from the town to apply for the DEC wetlands permit, which we have come to find out is required by the state of New York.
Yep, they stopped all work on that wetlands area, and they are required per the contract to pay all permits, to answer Susan's question.
Correct, and I also just want to thank one more. I want to thank you. I want to thank Mike Quinn, our town engineer, John Landy, our building inspector, and John Tegeter for coming together on this and acting as quickly, and Joe for your help as well on this as well.
Yeah. And also thank you for your leadership for putting that all together.
And how about all these trees remediation program? And, they cut down all the trees. They're going to plant here? They have seen the plan?
Part of the plan with Mr. Landy is to make sure that we have a tree plan in place. Without a tree plan, we cannot go forward on this project.
Okay.
Can't have trees on a golf course.
Just
no
comments.
Far
Thank you,
away,
but no comments from the audience right now, please.
Or water.
So, Jim, something that disturbed me a little bit at the last meeting. I know it didn't come from the board, but I know when the trees first got cut down, it was proposed. It came to us saying, "Oh, this was done accidentally," and then at the planning board meeting, someone threw out, "Oh no, they were all rotted." And look, what Tommy loves to say, I was born in the day, but I wasn't born yesterday.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really happy with that answer, and there are a lot of questions on what permits are still lagging behind.
Well, if you remember, the town engineer, Mr. Quinn, did a report, and about a quarter of those trees were rotted. And there was a number of trees. I can supply you with that report from.
Okay, so not the 95% number that was.
I don't think that number was accurate.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But I did not put that number.
I know you
forward.
didn't, and it actually wasn't anyone from the rec committee itself, but there needs to be a little bit of hey, what are you guys doing in this? So I am curious to it's great. We want this to really move forward. We want them to be able to hit the deadlines they need to because there's plantings and all that need to happen. But where are we with the missing permits? I know DEC is now going to be...
That is the next step, right? So the DEC permit needs to happen before anything else happens. So it's in the RC's hands right now. They have a deadline for Friday to meet with the town engineer to then go review the permit and then go forward, giving it to the state.
And then the site plan?
The planning would be then the next step the following week. We'll go through the whole list of things that planning needs, and then similarly meet with Mr. Landy and get that submitted as well.
So how is drainage now than what it was before,
The drainage is going to be exactly the same. It's not going to change. It was a golf course before with drainage on the holes, and it will be the same going forward. There's
so,
no...
there are less roots to conserve the soil erosion.
Correct.
And they will not have those roots,
Yep.
And the grass cannot provide that much coverage, so we'll see after the one more season,
Yes.
at the time maybe.
Well, I know Joe Falcone has a lot of experience in this because of his work over at the county golf courses.
27 years with Westchester County Golf Courses. I was on the construction site of Hudson Hills. And
Hudson
like
Hills,
I said
thank
earlier in the past work session, they're doing what they have to do. Aquatic planting is going to be replaced back there for all the aquatics, for the wetlands. The trees, yes, the trees that grew over those 10 years of neglect there. That's you're talking stumps, everything that was there is ripped out. It was rotten, and I tell you, it would have been a liability to the town if those trees had stayed. To control a golf, to make a golf course, you got to cut out holes and stuff, and you'll see as we go along. But yes, the process should be done the right way. The first person, Rock Camberry, passed away, and a lot of stuff fell through the cracks. So now, hopefully, we're up and running. And it's a shame if we could just fast track this application, because the weather out there is, he could be doing so much out there right now.
Well, that's what we've tried to do, and that's what we are, I think, going to accomplish. I mean, if we're able to to your point, Jim, they're going to be meeting on Friday with the town engineer, and they would probably be able to meet with him sooner, but he's at a conference, which is why he wasn't here tonight. But I think we've done a very good job internally of fast-tracking this thing to make sure that they have all the check boxes hit, so this way they can proceed, because I agree. I think it's going to be a great thing for the town.
Because from the get-go, it's really didn't cost the town any money at all. This guy's over $1 million already invested in it.
Yeah.
And, of course, once we, down the road, we have golf carts and stuff like that, the revenue will be coming back to the town as he recoups his money back also. So it's a public-private partnership, which I think is going to be a home run for this town. And,
I agree with you, Joe. It's just a shame that it got off to a bad start.
Exactly.
And Jimmy got it thrown in his lap, 3 weeks ago. But I asked for stuff 6 months ago. You remember that?
I know.
6 months,
and
and I still don't have it.
Exactly what you need. I understand.
Okay.
We're with the owner of the company, and everything else, and there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of stuff fell through the cracks, which I'm very disappointed in that. Also, with the trees at the time.
Yeah.
It was a weekend. It was done. I got there one day. I couldn't believe it. I was.
They probably could have been 6 to 8 months ahead right now if things had been done properly.
Absolutely.
I know Jimmy just made sure we had insurance. We weren't named as co-insurance on any of their stuff until Friday, Jim? Why don't you get right up here with them? Okay. And do we have a contract now, a signed contract with RC?
He's still.
Jim, I believe there's a signed contract, but we still is there?
The only existing signed contract that I have is from
Rocco's
2014.
Original, yeah.
And then the one from 2018, I do not have RC's signature currently on it.
Okay.
So what is covered in insurance then? Liability of everything happens over there?
Correct, to my knowledge. Yep.
That include the building and
the building and the land.
And we're going to have a concessionaire that's going to be running the restaurant / bar, clubhouse, whatever you want to call it. Do we have a contract with that individual at this point in time? Do you know?
It's not in operation yet, so no, not on that piece. But before they open, they would have to present that.
Okay, but they have moved some things in there and so on and so forth. Have they provided insurance and so on, or they have not done that yet?
They have building insurance. They have insurance on the building, correct. So they have the insurance to go forward with creating the building, but they're not ready to open. It's not like they have a liquor license or anything like that on file to go forward with opening a restaurant.
Right.
That needs to come later in the process.
Okay, so now part of one of your checklists is that we have to get a contract signed with RC, correct?
Correct, for the amended contract.
New contract.
Can I actually get a little clarification? So we have a amendment to the contract that's signed by the town and was never executed?
To my knowledge, yes.
And who is going to pay the insurance for the building? Because there is a fire there,
They would have to pay all permits and insurance.
The town is,
So it's subleased to.
The town is the landlord.
We own the land.
We got the land.
We own everything right there. And the DEC now permits violations, fines. Any violations or fines yet, or just?
There is no fine at all. Mr. Quinn met with the DEC. He said there's nothing finable going on, but he recommended that we step off the project, off the wetlands, until a DEC permit is.
All right, so we have a stop work order there at this point.
No, he did not put forward a stop work order. He just said, kind of, please stop.
Now, who said that?
The gentleman from the DEC.
From the DEC.
Josh.
So they're working.
I'm blanking on his
They're
last name.
working.
They're working with us. Okay.
They are working with us. So there is not a true stop work order currently. But they said, you know what, you're starting to go outside of that acre, of disturbance.
Yeah.
But you haven't quite yet. And so, kind of pump the brakes a little bit, before you go any further.
I see you got a file there now. That's what we should have had to begin with right from the start, with everything in it. So you have that developed, and you're going to keep track of these things to make sure that we, you and Joe, so that we have all our ducks in a row, correct?
Correct, and Joe has been, and they've only skimmed so far. So,
And Jim and I have been in constant contact since this came to our attention multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Basically, project managing this thing with Joe and our other department heads to get them through the process. So we've come together nicely on it.
Yep.
I understand the frustrations, that you're expressing, but I think that we're doing really well moving this forward as quickly as we can to make sure that they get across the finish line in a timely manner.
And I think what we all have to remember is that this is our land, and it is our building, and we are in the driver's seat here, okay? And, God forbid something happened when they were cutting down those trees, and it fell on somebody and maimed or injured or, God forbid, killed them.
Absolutely.
We would have been in a lot of trouble. And like I said before, just that whole plan with the trees and stuff is just so lackluster that I'm frankly kind of dismayed with the amount of non-enthusiasm from that builder to get this stuff to us so it could move forward faster. And poor Rocco did pass away, and we understand that. He was a great guy. But, I was just very disillusioned with that whole process there, and it's still not what we need. I mean, let's face it, it was supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, an Arnold Palmer golf course or layout or something of that nature?
Right.
And it still is.
Still is. They
Okay.
come. That's what we're working off of. They come at the end of February. So we're at the point now where we need to get all the bureaucracy handled.
Yeah.
Before the Arnold Palmer Foundation shows up to town.
Arnold Palmer Design.
Excuse me.
Right.
Arnold Palmer Design shows up to town to do their work because.
Yeah. This isn't their first rodeo.
You need the permits
Right.
for them to finish.
It's just a shame. We've heard about the expertise of people on the board, and I don't think any of this is a surprise, especially for someone in government. We're being set back because we didn't follow the process from the beginning.
Right.
And
well, I don't think. Listen, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if it's necessarily someone like Mr. Falcone's.
Right,
fumble
it's not
here.
his volley,
Right.
But as a collective, I think that there's, we should have seen this coming.
Major project should have come to us so we could have discussed it, and we would have been probably further along at this point than we are today.
Yeah,
and
but even so, pardon me. But well, you know what? I always hear people on that side of the podium saying, "You guys, as a town board, need to do as you say." And this is something where it's like, well, whenever you're building, do as I do, but don't, or do as I say, but don't do as I do here. And that's a problem. We didn't.
I don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
But all I can tell you is from my standpoint,
I know we're
and I
getting
think
there, and they're working on it. And I know it was thrown into Jim's lap, and I know that.
But we've also
Joe's a
taken this and
volunteer.
learned from it internally, and so we have weekly meetings with department heads. We have monthly full department head meetings. We have weekly project management meetings, just specifically to make sure things like this don't reoccur. So I think we've fixed it moving forward. And again, I understand the frustrations that both of you had that you're voicing. But I think we've got ourselves in a good position to get this across the finish line.
No, and I agree with that, and I want to be one of those people pushing it there. But yeah, there is a lot of frustration because.
Just understood.
I have a question. What town your Parks and Recreation has to do over there? Maintenance, anything, or supervising anything? Because now we are the landlord. The town is the landlord, and you are the superintendent. Yeah.
No, they're responsible for all upkeep of that property.
Right. The tenant.
Maintenance, everything.
The tenant is. The
I think
town
the
has no
question wa-
responsibility.
Yeah, so,
Correct.
I mean, but, we don't have anything to do at all. All right, that's good then.
Yeah, and the only thing that we're going to essentially add would be adding a recreation element to that project.
Right.
So we'll put together a senior citizen, golf program, a
Talk about
kids
veteran
golf
program
program,
for
a veteran
veterans,
program as well.
would
So
be great,
we'll add some recreation elements to it. But as far as golf course maintenance and management, that will be their responsibility and their cost.
And the total square feet of the area is the same it was before?
Correct. There is no change to the space.
They're in the same footprint.
Right.
There's really nothing
Yeah.
changing. Moving forward, I think maybe we should have had maybe a civil engineer there, a town employee who's in our engineering department on site. I mean, any project, even with Granite Knolls, that should have been the same thing. Westchester County has any parks operation. We have a DPW civil engineer on site. I mean, maybe it's something we think about moving forward. I'm surprised that we didn't have, and I asked that question a couple of times to the former superintendent of the parks, and he had no answer for me. And understandably, he had Granite Knolls going, and we had a few other things going on. But
Did it ever come up as a topic for the commission itself, though, Joe?
I brought it up not to the commission, but to the supervisor of Parks, Todd, the past one, and he said, well, he was going to check into it, and things went away. And
No, it's a good suggestion.
I think really it should be
Very good
somebody on
suggestion.
site. This way, stuff like this doesn't happen anymore.
That's the type of thing that the commission.
we hired. We hired somebody for Granite Knolls, but he's
That's the type
part
of
time.
thing
But
the commission
Can I
should bring
can I
up,
ask a
so
question?
it's been a great-
I know I'm not supposed to talk. How much you getting paid for doing this?
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
Nothing. This I am.
Nothing. So let me understand. You
22
got
years.
20.
I'm the senior rec commissioner.
Right. So let me understand this. Yeah. How many years experience do you have building golf courses with the county?
Oh, not building. Well, Hudson Hills, I was up there for 4 years while they were building.
Okay. So
The
you're bringing
wetlands.
all this expertise to the commission because you're a volunteer.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I just, we tend to beat up on the commission a little bit sometimes. And I really want to be clear about that, when we did Granite Knolls and Alavitable and Matt Talbert were up there 40, 50 hours a
Right.
week on their own dime. So when we talk about other boards and commissions, that sit and meet once a month, they ain't out there every day busting their hump to see that it gets done right. So you can't compare a recreation commission to whether a planning board or a BACA commission, anything. You can't make that comparison because you guys are doing the hands-on work. I've been involved as a liaison, involved being at meetings for 8 years, and I've seen it time and time again. The playground at Downing Park, the Granite Knolls, the pools, getting everything done. So I would like to say thank you for your volunteerism. Thank you.
A lot of us love what we do. You got to like what you're doing. And yeah, you're going to have some hurdles and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's all going to be a good deal. Like you say, you got to get through the process. That's all. Right.
So,
and we're getting there.
Do you have any other questions or?
No, just and I hope I didn't come across saying, I'm ungrateful. We are very grateful for the job you guys do, and we know that. But we're also responsible to the taxpayers, and we're responsible to get the questions answered that are asked of us.
We're saving the town because our parks people going in and maintaining that golf course while it was neglected there just to keep the woody
sure.
growth down.
Right.
So it would cost probably about $75,000, I think, for the few years that our people were going over there. So right now, it's not costing the town anything right now.
Right.
So I mean,
great.
That's good stuff. Thank you both.
Thanks.
So I got to tell you something, guys. Volunteers are not so cheap. They are priceless. Thank you.
And they're going to get 100%.
Thank you all.
All right, so we have a motion for this resolution. Again, I'll read it again. Authorize supervisor to sign a permit application for RC Recreation Development, LLC, to submit application documents to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for the golf course project, also known as Part 3.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of sign at the winery at St. George.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Emergency repair of the steam pipe at the AACCC gymnasium floor. This was, this is all the way on the bottom. This was mentioned earlier. So on Friday, we had some narrative. We had a steam pipe under the gym floor burst. Essentially, the gym floor is all but ruined at this point. So the first step in the process here is for us to repair the steam pipe, and then we can do an assessment on the gym floor. So this resolution will authorize $6,885 to Peak Performance, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think I want to have just a little comment. This thing happened. Why don't we do something that somebody come plumber or something and check it out, the whole building, what the trouble is,
Yeah, no,
We do
it
preventive
happens.
maintenance
Yeah.
on all the buildings. Margaret, who's head of buildings and maintenance,
Margaret Gasparini is
very,
back
You
here.
need the real
is
doctor,
very on top of that,
plumber.
Councilman. We have all our oil burners serviced annually, if not biannually. These are things that occur that you can't see it coming. How do you know there's going to be leak in your floor?
No, but I'm talking about the pipes, you can
they do
check.
that.
Encased in concrete. They're underneath the floor.
That's a problem, I know.
Well, the pipes in the wall, I think, are visually inspected too. I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Seen them going around.
We could rip the
inspecting.
walls down and look at all the pipes.
So
Councilman
the
Lackerman?
next up is the appointment of Rich Romansky to the Parks and Recreation Committee, Commission, sorry.
I don't think you need
Huh?
to read it, or do you want just a motion?
I'll make a
Discussion?
motion unless
Do you
anyone wants
have a
discussion.
comment on this?
No, my comment is just let the Alice come here and then we can vote it again.
Oh, unfortunately, I've been in touch with Councilwoman Roker just about every day while she was sick, but I did not hear from her today, so I had assumed she was coming. So I have no requests from Councilwoman Roker to postpone this vote.
No, but we have done it before, for other things.
Because she actually requested for me to postpone the vote. I do not have a request from Councilwoman Roker to postpone the vote.
But didn't we, the postpone one more time, and then there was no meeting in between?
We tabled a vote on her request that she communicated directly to me, and we did it out of respect for Councilwoman Roker.
And honestly, Vishnu, we've postponed this a while. I've been
But
talking about this for a while.
the objection is you cannot stack them up the same kind of people, okay? And the other one thing, if somebody on the board before, they have to have no other interest, any kind, of being on that board, personal gain, something like that, So that's another thing we have to think it all the time in all the appointment. So I think, just one more,
I don't disagree.
week,
I don't disagree with
Well, the issue is with the actual appointment, and especially in my eyes, it was done while I wasn't here. We appointed someone to a position that was not open, and that there's a problem with that. So that would be the recall of that anyway. Mr. Romansky is already on the board, so as an alternate member. So for him to move into that position is also something that I have spoken on before when it happened with our planning department. No,
planning board. Yeah.
Planning board. When Aaron was skipped over our person in there, and I had nothing against Aaron, but we had an alternate in there.
Rob Garrigan was there, too.
Rob Garrigan.
I spoke out against that also.
He remains the alternate.
Right, and he remains the alternate. He's given a tremendous amount of time. The board even came and spoke about that fact, that he had been, there. And I think that, I've been very vocal on it. I've been very consistent on it. And I really do not want to put this off any longer.
Because, you have accepted the responsibility as a liaison town board to the Parks and Recreation. And, you have your own views, and I have my own views. So I think, can we wait another week,
It would be 2 weeks, and I really think that we could put it to a vote. If it ties, then we'll have to talk about it again. So, I think it's important to move ahead with the vote. We've been talking about this for 3.5 years.
What is not being done, those who are on the board now, nothing has stopped, and they are the one has moved the mountain,
Vishnu, I spoke about
Well, I
this when we
agree.
interviewed the people in November, or actually it might have been the second week of December, before I went away. I had this same conversation, and Councilwoman Roker was here. So I just feel like it's getting put off, and I'm really done kicking it down the road.
What is so urgency for 1 week,
It's not 1 week.
Well,
Vishnu.
maybe
and then we could take a look at all of the charters, and then we could revisit it. I'm not open to revisiting it, but I think that the appointment was made improperly and it needs to be recalled. And I know that we have that person in place already. So I would like
to leave it open for 1 month, because the people, those who are volunteering it, the meaning of volunteer, they don't get paid because they are cheap. No, they are priceless,
Right.
And
I do
we
a
should honor
lot
that,
of volunteer work, Vishnu. I understand that
Well,
completely.
my
and I
initially the
appreciate
V
it,
is a volunteer.
and I appreciate it, and I know what those people put on. But once again, we have to look at the right and wrong for the town.
Because, conflict of interest is the one which bothers me, okay?
Okay.
You have your own view, and I have my own view.
Well, I'm not looking to put anyone new on there right now. The alternate will remain open right now. We're not moving an alternate into place yet. And that's something that we need to discuss, definitely. And if we want to change the charter, that's something that we could talk about. It's been a while. I think when the charter was written was the last time it was changed, and I was 3 years old, so I was probably still being changed too.
I wouldn't admit
I
that.
hope not.
You were potty trained.
I hope not.
I was a little slow to start. Well, I was 2 at the time because I'm born late in the year. So.
There you go.
Thanks, John. So I would like to move it forward. So I move it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Favor?
Aye.
No.
Vote passes.
Thank you.
From the town assessor, approved tax certiorari proceedings for 3775 Crampon Road, owned by DP74 LLC, Verizon. Yeah, you're done.
You want to keep going?
Want me to do them all?
I think those are the ones we needed to discuss.
Approve tax certiorari proceedings for 1896 East Main Street, owned by Stivamaha Corp. From the town clerk, renew CRP Sanitation Inc. commercial garbage license for 2020. Authorize town clerk, very excited about this one, authorize town clerk to advertise a request for proposals for Lake Mohegan aquatic pesticide treatments. It's from the grant that was procured.
Yep.
From the town comptroller, authorize comptroller to pay Sophie James the cash value of unused time as of her retirement date. And from the town engineer, authorize release of performance bond in the amount of $250 to Giuliano, 2398 Tree Lawn Street. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And with that,
Motion to
adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your time. Have a good night.